Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel where we talk about stuff. So I have a very big, I don't think it's even a theory, idea as to who certain news is for. Within the cryptocurrency space, there's been a lot, and I mean like a multitude of times where we've received news or something has leaked. Similar to years ago, this is more of a 2019, 2020 kind of thing, maybe early. Anyway, the point is, we in the crypto space would receive news that a higher up in a company had said something positive about Bitcoin. Basically, during a conference call, a meeting, Skype, chat, whatever they were doing, somebody would record it. And somebody would actually then put it out there and show that the CEO had talked positively about Bitcoin. We had this years ago when it came to the heads of the NASDAQ and the heads of the New York Stock Exchange, who had both simultaneously within like the same exact week announced that they believed that Bitcoin was not only amazing, but that Bitcoin could at some point be a world currency. And that was kind of like one of like the, check marks for me. When these people say these things out loud, it's not that they're saying it as like a, hey, one come all, everyone go, get you some Bitcoin. It ends up being there's very specific words for very specific people that they end up using. It's kind of similar to if you've ever, I assume you have, watched finance news, especially before you got into finance. You might have noticed the way that they talk is very particular. They use a set of words that are not like normal everyday words, so that it's only for information for certain people who are out there on the planet. It's usually for rich people. They tell them certain things about assets and this and liabilities and securities and commodities, and you sit there without knowing what these words are, and you're like, I don't know what they're trying to say. So you change the channel because the news isn't for you. So a lot of times also we've gotten news or indications or something leaked from banks, from Fidelity, from BlackRock years ago. We first had BlackRock news back in, I think, 2018. I believe it was 2018. It was one of the first times that people had begun to speculate or someone said that BlackRock was actively into it. We also got news around that time, 2018, 2019, that a number of countries were actively buying Bitcoin as well. That was the first time we got news, for those of you who missed it. This was 2018. I want to say one of the head, it's crazy. One of the head finance ministers in Russia actually announced that they were going to be buying up Bitcoin. And I mean, he was like, yeah, like we have like several $1 billion that we have nothing to do with. So we're going to allocate some of that money into Bitcoin. It's on one of my older videos. I don't know where it is, how to find it, but you can maybe definitely find it if you want to have, anyway. And I remember, of course, it was a major video because it's like, wait, a country announced out loud that they're going to be buying Bitcoin. And then like four days later, someone asked him again at a press conference, when are you guys buying Bitcoin? And he's like, Bitcoin? I don't know what a Bitcoin is. I assume someone behind the scenes was like, stop, or, Anyway, the thing to me has always been when people announce these things, it's not for us. That's kind of the generalized point. So when I saw this news, I was like, this also clearly isn't for the everyday average person. And a lot of times in the cryptocurrency space, even when we get news like this, one of my major frustrations is that a lot of people also don't pay attention to this news as well. A senior analyst at Fidelity Global, his name is Jurian Timmer, Timmer, said that basically he thinks that Bitcoin should be a part of everyone's portfolio. We had something like this 3 or 4 months ago as well. There was a larger company. It might have been Fidelity. I can't remember the exact name, who it was. But they also announced that they think that... I forgot what the numbers were. It was something along the lines of how much money they believed should be allocated into Bitcoin. And it was something egregious. Like normally like companies years ago would say like maybe half of 1%. If you're crazy, do 1 entire percent. But this was like 10 to 15% or something like that. And it had to do with the idea of the risk and reward. Cryptocurrencies inherently are very risky. Bitcoin, or the idea of Bitcoin becoming a world, I mean, it technically is a world currency. Got it. But being like, a world currency like the US dollar or the Chinese yen, currency or anything similar to that is also incredibly speculative at this point as to when or if it could actually happen. So when you had a bit of a brain fart there, what just happened? Anyway, the point is, this guy basically, that's what it was. They were talking about like a super large allocation into Bitcoin, which basically was they said, if this thing ends up taking off and you as a company find a way to allocate 10 to 15% of your portfolio into Bitcoin, and should Bitcoin then hit $1 million, you of course would have basically won. As for those of you who have never seen the numbers before, Bitcoin, I believe since 2009 is up like millions of percent, not a fake number. It's literally millions of percent since it was first created. And people are still assuming that Bitcoin has a very large amount of way to go. There's no stopping Bitcoin as far as a lot of people are concerned. People think that it's going to do a 10x from here during this bull run, and over the course of the next couple of halvings that we will eventually see a $1 million plus Bitcoin. But that's also something else that we're going to be talking about in the future. Timmer, Timmer, stated that the risk-return ratio of Bitcoin actually surpasses many other assets that are on the S&P 500 and even gold. Gold can also be completely left out of it as well, as we've been going over gold over the course of the last couple of years, and gold has not really moved at all comparatively to a number of other assets, nonetheless also comparing it to Bitcoin as well. Therefore, he argued that having some Bitcoin in portfolios could go a long way, and added, Bitcoin has become its own asset class in terms of risk return this past decade. It is the best asset I think that has ever existed. Like ever. Like you can look it up like on charts and stuff like that. Nothing else remotely compares to how well Bitcoin has done. Even since like 2017, if you go from $1,000 to the $69,000, or also the expected numbers that a lot of people are anticipating over 2024, 2025, it is the best performing asset. Over the course of the last decade, it is up by millions of percent, and it's expected to also do that once again. This news is fascinating because once again, it's not for us. This news is from a head director at Fidelity who's talking to a very specific amount of people. This is why if you watch some of the other videos on this channel and the other channel, we get a lot of like managing director kind of news. And these people are like sometimes on stage or at events and they go, yeah, we've been like that other woman. This was 4 weeks ago. I forgot her name. Can't remember the name of the company either, but you can find it in one of the other videos. She was basically like, yeah, we've been talking to a number of countries and we've been helping them to like start acquiring Bitcoin. And there are other countries who are now also, and I was like, did this woman just say she's talking to multiple countries to like help them acquire Bitcoin? And like that news isn't for us. Like it's literally the people who are in the audience. And the only reason why we heard it is because it's about crypto and it like sprinkled into our news. But even then, a lot of people don't even pay attention to it. A lot of people in the cryptocurrency space go, well, it's not benefiting me directly. I'm not the country who's buying Bitcoin. And it's like, okay, keep having that mentality because a lot of this stuff is going to continue happening over the course of the next couple of years. And I think personally, it's obviously only going to be the people who like sat down and actually paid attention to all the news that we've been getting. This isn't like rare news. This happens quite often, but the mindset tends to be, well, the prices are down. It's not at its all-time high. It's not as high as it could be. The price was just like 22,000 like a couple of weeks ago. Maybe it'll fall back down. It's like, okay, well, cool. You keep having that mindset. You make sure that you don't invest or get into the space or whatever the actual case might be. But while it is not tomorrow, it's actually a number of years away. I am looking forward very much to the year 2032 because that is meant to be the year where Bitcoin will be over $1 million. And I want to see exactly how many people paid attention because we can't keep getting news like this every single day and not have people like, oh, snaps, I can't believe it happened again. Yeah. As always, the articles will be in the description below for those of you who are keen to read it. I do sincerely hope that you have all enjoyed. I do hope that you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and or supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.